Hello and welcome back to the channel. As you can tell by the title and the thumbnail, it's a long one because I'm going to be showing off my entire Doctor Who collection, and that is everything that I own Doctor Who related that I can find within my house. So yeah, let's. The main reason why I'm doing this now, I know I have done a few Doctor Who collection showcases in the past, through showing off my DVD and Blu-ray collection, to showing off my action figure collection and everything in between. But I think there have been stuff that I have left out that I do have in my collection. Obviously, I've added a whole bunch more stuff into my collection since filming those videos. So I decided to take those down and have this one ginormous long video to basically have as the definitive collection showcase. So yeah, we're just going to start off with some miscellaneous stuff as we work our way through the collection, starting off with this. Let me zoom in there for you. So this, as you can tell, is of course a Colin Baker mug. These were released in around the 50th anniversary as some collector edition mugs. They done one for all of the Doctors at that time, before we even had the John Hurt one. So this was a birthday present from a family member. I have never drank out of it, obviously, because it's probably not safe to. So it's just a little decorative collector's item there. The next one that I have is of the Ninth Doctor. Now this I did find whilst out and about, and it had the original box with it and all, but I obviously threw out the box, so yeah, same legal jargon underneath. Now there is one thing that I did leave downstairs, and that is my Doctor Who travel mug. If I remember to, there should be an image on screen of it right now. I just need to clean the insides, just clean it in general before I show it off, and I only just realized as I started this video, and I'm not about to pause it just to go downstairs. Now, the next miscellaneous thing that I have in the collection, let me just zoom back. As you can see, we have the Doctor Who Quiz Book 2 with over 250 questions inside. This I found in a charity shop, as you can tell by the price tag, for 50 cents. So, Quiz Book 2, have you been paying attention to all the 10th Doctor's latest adventures? Test your knowledge with these multiple choice quizzes and find out. So, let me just pick a random one. So, as you can tell, that this has been, written in by obviously a younger fan, and we do have some stuff. So we have alien identification. Look at the fragments on the following pages of some of the aliens the Doctor has encountered. How many do you recognize? So there we have the Cybermen and Absorbaloff. So 1 is obviously Cassandra. 2 is the Wire. 4 is a Dalek. 3 is the face of Bo. On the next page, we have the Beast. We have the Emperor Dalek. We have K9, and we have an Ood. And then here are the answers flipped upside down. And let's see, how evil are you? And there's a bunch of questions. So it's a nifty little thing. Let me actually pan down so I'm not getting exhausted from trying to hold this up. So yeah, it was an alright find, for 50 cents. Okay, so next up is some Lego Doctor Who stuff, some official and some customs. So we'll go with the official stuff first. And that is, of course, with the Lego Dimensions in Time. We did get this TARDIS. Hold on one second. There, I added the flash so you can see it a bit better. So this came with a 3-pack. I'm actually probably missing one of the other Legos, so I'll have to quickly go and grab it. So here is, of course, the front, the side, the other side, and another side. And there we are again with the front. And then there is the lamp like so. So let me just go and grab the other thing that I'm missing. Okay, so I have no idea where it's gone, but I definitely had a Lego K9 Build-A-Figure that you got with this, with these sets. Just no idea where he's gone. Now, to go with the TARDIS, I do have, of course, let me just focus there, one of the official Lego Doctors that came, of course, with that TARDIS set. And he did have a sonic screwdriver. Again, I don't really know where it's gone, so I built a replacement one that's similar to the one that he would have had at the beginning. Yeah, it's just a quick little mock-up sonic screwdriver, just so he would have one. Now, again, sticking with the official, I do have the Lego Cyberman minifig, which did come with a Dalek Build-A-Figure for the Lego Dimensions set. However, mine's gone walkabout years ago, and I just don't have one, unfortunately. These things, now that Dimensions is gone, and because it's such a collectible set, these have gone up in price on the secondary market. So it'll be difficult to get. So let me actually stand these guys up, since you can see them. The next official Lego Doctor Who stuff that I have is, of course, the Lego Weeping Angel that you did get with the TARDIS that you could build. I never got the TARDIS, but she is missing a wing. No idea where that's gone. Which is a sentiment that you see with this Lego showcase. Now, I have built my own Lego TARDIS, and here it is. Yeah, so this is my own custom Lego TARDIS that I just threw together with a bunch of blue bricks and a black tile there, and then the door frame here that normally holds the phone is held on by two bricks there, like so. And then, of course, so we have the key, and we have the St. John Ambulance sticker, which, of course, is something that they can't use anymore. So, sticking with the realm of customs, I do have some custom Lego Doctor Who stuff, such as my custom Lego TARDIS console. Yes, this is one that I just threw together randomly. It didn't need to be big or didn't need to be small, but this is, kind of like, some of the classic consoles. So we have just random stuff, if I can get it to focus, that I just stuck on randomly. We even have a lever, focus. There we go. We do have a little screen, which does fold up. And then here is what's on here, which is a little lock and keypad. So yeah, that's just the little Lego TARDIS that I have built myself. Moving on to the Doctors, because I do have some custom ones. So starting off with is custom number 10. As soon as I saw this suit, the face and the hair from this random Lego bag that I bought last year, I was like, okay, that's instantly my custom 10th Doctor figure. And then, of course, the sonic screwdriver is super easy to make for this incarnation. And yeah, so does it have two heads? He does indeed have two heads, which is good because for like if I ever did get back into doing Lego stop motion animations, I have something to work with there. So yeah, that's my custom 10th Doctor. Just throwing this in randomly, this little TARDIS is actually not an official thing. This came from a model train set village, just a random item that you could purchase for your model train set. And so because it's, perfectly Lego sized, which this is another custom Doctor that I have, that's what I'm using it for. So I just thought I'd show that off briefly. And let me just tilt this down a bit more. So yeah, this is my favorite of the customs. This is the first custom Doctor that I made. Because as soon as I seen the body here, I knew instantly that it screamed the Doctor to me. And that's that. When it comes to building, my custom Doctors, the body, the head, the hair has to scream the Doctor to me. Otherwise, it's just a no go. And thankfully for this one, it definitely does, and I'm very happy and proud with it. And here is a look at the sonic screwdriver that I made for them. And yeah, this would be like if I were to do Lego Doctor Who stuff again, this would be the main Doctor of choice. And so I'll put him there. Then next we just have some random Doctors that I made, such as this one right here. The torso is used from a figure from the Fantastic Beasts range, from the first movie. And then the head and the hair, I believe, is from like a Ninjago figure. So I always knew looking at this, at the torso, that again, that definitely screamed the Doctor to me. And then here is the custom sonic screwdriver that I made for this version of the Doctor. And let me just put back in the sonic screwdriver right there. So yeah, there is just a random custom that I have made. I'll stick them, if I can, right here. There we go. I do have a custom master figure. So this is my custom master. It's just, again, something I threw together. Now, it initially did have a hairpiece. I have no idea where the hairpiece is gone. Now, the head, I believe, belongs to the torso for the blonde Doctor there, from that Fantastic Beasts figure. I have no idea where the torso comes from. And then, the reverse eyes there could be, to hypnotize, like the Master used to be able to do, but hasn't really been brought up since in modern Doctor Who. And then there is just a hat to go with him, if the camera can focus. Focus. Seriously, fucking focus. You can kind of see him there. There we go. That's a better view of him. Now, this is one that I just threw together randomly, just for this video, because I've been meaning to use this torso for a Doctor. I'm not too sure on the head. Definitely the hairpiece is a must, because why I'm not sure on the head is because it's, it's the same heads that I use on my Doctor. So it was just a random one that I found, because again, it needs to scream Doctor to me. And then this is the custom screwdriver that I threw together randomly, but I've always wanted to use this headpiece, not this headpiece, the body torso for a Doctor. And that is all of the Lego stuff. So now it's time to get into the world of comics. Okay, so here is my comic/magazine collection for Doctor Who. Starting off here with the Doctor Who Discovers Pirates with a color poster, which I do have stuck up on my wall, which I'll go over in the poster section. So I have not read this, to be honest with you. That's nice. I haven't even looked through it, to be quite honest with you. So I don't really know. Okay, so it's a bit of a mix of picture book and text story. So I'll probably need to give this a read-through at some point. But that is the first magazine book thing. Next, we do have a graphic novel for a bunch of Doctor Who stories starring Sylvester McCoy, titled The Good Soldier, which, as you see here, it is collection of Seventh Doctor comic strips, Volume 3. The following 9 incredible adventures follow fellow travelers: Darkness Falling, Distractions, The Mark of Mandragora, Party Animals, The Chameleon Factor, The Good Soldier, A Glitch in Time, and Seaside I'm dyslexic, so I'm obviously butchering that. Plus 2 short text stories featuring the Seventh Doctor, Teenage Kicks, and Scream of the Silent. So I bought this in Forbidden Planet. I have read the first story in this, and it's okay. Moving on to a gift that was sent to me by AJ over at AJ's Movie Place. And that is an 8th Doctor graphic novel amalgamation of comics for A Matter of Life and Death, which I did read and do a review of. So if you want to check out my review for that, it is in, of course, my Doctor Who reviews and more playlist. So moving on to this classic Doctor Who monthly magazine, issued on the 21st of June 2006, issue 370, which unfortunately I don't have the posters that come with it. And it's of course talking about Man of Steel, the return of the Cybermen. DWM celebrates the rebirth of an old enemy as we go behind the scenes and the masks to explore the legacy of the Silver Giants. And so, yeah, that's basically what it is. It's just a bunch, standard Doctor Who monthly magazine, which we'll have another issue show up shortly here. Talking about Liz Slayton returning to the show. Look at that 2 spread there for the Cybermen returning. And then we even get an interview with the creator of who was it? Life on Mars, where he talks about writing for I believe it was the episode Fear Her. And then we do have the standard comic as well. Since this was released in around the time of series 2. So here's talking about the girl in the fireplace. So yeah, that's the first of the Doctor Who monthly magazines that I own. Now here is the official 2007 annual that I found in a charity shop for 50p or 50 cent. I'm pretty sure as well the monthly magazine I also found in a charity shop. I'm not 100% sure. So of course, we have a lenticular of 9 into 10, even though that had already been the case for a year. Now look at that. That is nostalgia personified for me. I believe I owned this at one point. So let's have a look at the table of constants. So we have Meet the Doctor, Friends, Old and New, Would You Be, Know Your Enemy, Cassandra, Monster Hunt, Mirror Image, Know Your Enemy, Krilltangs, Is Your Teacher an Alien, K9's Cafe Confession, or Confusion, Dr. Ho Ho, Solar System, Special Awareness, Know Your Enemy, The Ood, The Torchwood Institute, Police Box Party, Wolf Attack, Which Alien Are You Most Like, Going Around in Circles, Know Your Enemy, The Sladine, Escape from Raxacorigo Falbatorius, got that in one, Not Exactly Rocket Science, Down the Rabbit Hole, Make Your Own Time Capsule, Know Your Enemy, Daleks, Message Madness, Doomsday, TARDIS Tracker, Know Your Enemy, Cybermen, Act Like a Time Lord, Doctor Who Adventures, and Answers. So yeah, that's basically what this whole, the annual is. They still print these as well. Who would you be? Let's actually do this. So start. Would you enjoy an adventure holiday? Yes. Do you enjoy taking risks? No, not really. Do you prefer computer games to team games? Yes. Okay. Have you ever met someone who looks exactly like you? No. So we're down to K9. Apparently I'm K9. You're most like K9. It's amazing that you bother to follow this flowchart to its logical conclusion, as frankly, you are a bit of a fun sucker. Motherfuckers. There are adventures to be having and analytical minds, blah, 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 an analytical mind and tell it like it is personality, but you might think about choosing a job in science rather than politics. So yeah, that's basically a brief overview of the 2007 Doctor Who annual. Now we get into more graphic novels, and this was a recent pickup that I got for €1 in my first ever Comic-Con convention that happened in my local town. I did do a video on that last November. So this is the Doctor Who, the 11th Doctor Who Archives, Volume 2. So obviously there's a price tag of €4, but I got a bundle deal, so I got it for €1. Now I'm not sure if I can find what stories are in here. Yes, here we go. And because my phone is too hot, the flash has gone off. But anyway, here we have As Time Goes By, the Hyperthermatical Gentleman, I probably butchered that, The Doctor and the Nurse, In Fez Station, get it, Escape into Alcatraz, The Eye of Ashira, and Space Odyssey. There we go. It's got to flicker back on, but because there's so much for me to show off, I can't really get my ring light. So I'll just flick to show you some random pages here. I have still yet to read this myself, so expect a review at that sometime this year. Now that's a nice double page. That's a nice full page spread, to be honest with you. So yeah, moving on to another gift from AJ's Movie Place. This is the graphic novel Ghost Stories. So this takes place not long after the end of The Return of Dr. Mysterio, where we wrap things up for this. Because, it never did. It never wrapped up the story. And I did a review of this as well. So you can find out my thoughts and opinions on that. Here is another Doctor Who monthly magazine that I have in my collection. This was, of course, released around the 60th anniversary, and it gave you some posters. So yeah, I did do a full video on this as well, going over it, because it was I think it was like I paid €15 when it's normally like a tenner, just to get the posters. So like I said, I did do a full walkthrough of this, so you can go check it out on the channel. And then the final of the Doctor Who comic/graphic novels is again another gift from AJ. He's just that great of a guy, to give me some amazing Doctor Who gifts, because this isn't the last we'll see of gifts that I received from AJ. Wait until we get to my DVD and Blu-ray collection. We'll see some there. So Torchwood, comic World Without End. I've read some of this. I still have yet to finish this. So I can't really talk too much about it. So now it's time to get old school for me, and that is for my Doctor Who Battles in Time collection. So I need to go fish out the binder for that one. Okay, so here is the binder with my Doctor Who Battles in Time cards in it. A lot of these were actually gifts. All of it were gifts from two different people. So yeah, let's get into it, because it's an almost full binder worth of Battles in Time. Now, unfortunately, I don't have sleeves for a lot of these. Hang on a moment. Okay, they're slightly bigger than Yu-Gi-Oh, so I thought I might have gotten away with that, using some Yu-Gi-Oh sleeves. But yeah, here is page 1. I have it ordered in, when they appeared for Doctors. Certain sets, obviously, as you see, do show where it is. So we're starting off with the monster section here. Even though Omega is a Time Lord, they, for whatever reason, have him listed as a monster, which isn't all that accurate, but is at the same time. So I definitely remember buying these, collecting these a lot as a kid. Obviously, not the classic run of these, but more so the newer ones, which we'll get onto in a second. Now we're finished with monsters again. The Master is a Time Lord, not a monster. Um, but now, and then Davros again. Well, Davros, yeah, no, Davros is a monster. Then we are going to be finishing up with the monsters, probably on the next page as we continue on down here. Now we're getting into the new series stuff, you know, the Sycorax, Cassandra's brain. Yeah, they printed a card of Cassandra and Cassandra's brain for whatever reason. The werewolf, the slab, the plasmavore. And what I do love about the cards is, you know, they do tend to like have extra stuff in the background. Like with the wolf, you have the moon there. With the slab, you see a slab as well as the plasmavore. And then with the plasmavore, you do see a Jadoon. And then Jadoon group, they print group cards as well. And there's just Trooper number 1, so there's 3 different versions of that, of the Trooper. Then we have some of the Carrionites. So that's Carrionite escaping, Carrionite number 2, Macra 1, 2, and 3. Then Pixel Slave 2, and then we move on to Lazarus with the creature, Father Mine in chains, so trapped, Mother Mine trapped, Scarecrow 1, Scarecrow 3, Weeping Angel 1, Weeping Angel 2, Weeping Angel group, Future Kinds, Toclophanes, 2 different versions of Toclophane, 1 attacking, 1 normal. So that's just a way that they would, you know, print the cards. And yeah, like I said, there's a lot of childhood memories of, you know, buying the magazines, buying the individual packs, because I remember, I think it was the second and the third volumes of the magazines that you would get like a TARDIS storage, for the cards, and then, you know, this isn't the only time that we've had, you know, the Doctor Who trading cards. After this, during the Matt Smith era, for a little while, they did print some cards for that, but I'm not as, you know, nostalgic for them as I would be for the Battles in Time cards. So we're now into humans. Like, they even printed Farmer Clark before he became Father Mine, which I thought was interesting. And we're into the hero side of things with Ricky Smith. And there's a few different Marthas that they obviously printed, because we have one here with the mood patch on. Then this is a face about saving New York. And there's a face about dying. And then we also have Martha Jones in disguise. So a lot of these I do have like duplicates, as you can kind of see as we go down. Like I have a good few Chanthos, Resurrected, Captain Jack. Then we get into the special cards that you can use to help. So all of these are common. Right now we're just seeing a lot of the common cards that you would get in the pack. So these also can help when you're playing the TCG. So then, like you see, there's a little stack that I have of the wallpaper warning. And now we're getting into the holographics. So yeah, again, the holographics are rares. So I have them in order of which Doctor they appeared from. Then we're getting now into the more modern set with Harry Saxon and the Master, with Toclophane, a Weeping Angel, attacking, Son of Mine, the Sun Possessed, Corwin, Unmasked, and then we have another Sun Possessed, Dev Aston, Lazarus Creature, another one of the Quilting. I do love this art, and this does take me back to when I got that card, because it started around series 2, series 3, and yeah, so I do remember pulling that Toclafane card, and I remember always wanting Cybermen cards, Dalek cards. I remember finally pulling that and being absolutely stoked because that was a cover card for one of the sets. And I also wanted, Doctors as well. So there's a holographic Captain Jack with Vortex Manipulator. And here we get into some special cards. And then we get into the super rares, which are hard to pull. So we have a Sutek, which I'm pretty sure probably went up in price. Mine's not in the best of conditions. It's more light play than the rest. But I think because of the most recent series, it's gone up. So I do have a 10th Doctor Light Storm from, that Master episode. We have a Jarek Dakaby Master. Let's see, pre-regeneration, that's what they call it there. And then the last card here is another SR. And then here is one of the packs that you could get that I put in there. So now let's get on to the posters that I have. Okay, so starting off with this poster for the 60th anniversary, for which has both the Star Beast and the Giggle on it. Not so much Wild Blue Yonder because they're really hiding that for the time. But as I said, that came in the Doctor Who Monthly magazine that I showed off earlier in this video. And then in that, I also got this poster of Blink, which is a fan favorite episode. And then my favorite episode had a poster, which is why I'm displaying it, being World Enough in Time / The Doctor Falls. It's probably the best Capaldi episode, but not only that, the best Cybermen episode we've had in a while, and just my favorite episode in general. And then below that was a gift from the Trash Picture Show for the Asylum of the Daleks. I believe this poster came up before the episode aired, but still, I do like this episode. And then the last of the Doctor Who posters is this one, which is the Doctor Who Discovers Pirates with Tom Baker there. As you can see, there's a werewolf, but I'll get into that for the action figures in a second. Actually, that wasn't the last one. I do have a art card from Flux because I actually did enjoy Flux, and that is actually the last of the posters. So I think now all that's really left to show off in my collection, unless I'm missing something, is the DVDs and Blu-rays and VHS, and then the action figures. So yeah, I think I'll do the VHS and DVDs and Blu-rays next. Okay, now it's time for the DVDs and VHS and Blu-rays. So obviously we're going to start off with classic Doctor Who, and yeah, so obviously I do have the very first story, An Unearthly Child, which I did a scripted review in 2022. So again, that is in my Doctor Who Reviews and More playlist, as well as I do have a classic Doctor Who playlist for all my classic Doctor Who reviews. So yeah, it's a not great of a story, and the only way to now watch this legally is through DVD and VHS because the son of the writer has withheld the rights to it, so that's why it's not streaming on any streaming services whatsoever. So yeah, the first episode, however, the episode titled An Unearthly Child is the best part of it, so I would recommend just watching that and then immediately diving right into either the Daleks here, which is the original 7 episodes as it aired, or you can, of course, watch the colorization re-edit that they done last year, but again, that's no longer on the BBC iPlayer, so you'd have to buy it on DVD or Blu-ray to watch it. I haven't watched all 7 episodes in a while, But it's a good story. There's a reason this episode saved the show, and why the Daleks are still such an iconic part of the show afterwards. An episode that I have not watched is Edge of Destruction, which I believe is just a two-parter. Um, so to wrap up basically season one. So these three stories were the first season of the show. And you can get these three in a box set called The Beginnings. I just have them individually because that's how I acquired them over the years. Moving on to the Reign of Terror, which again is not an episode that I've seen. I believe as well this was the very first animation that they done because yeah, so as you see here, this special DVD release contains the original episodes 1, 2, 3, and 6, plus brand new versions of episodes 4 and 5, currently missing from the BBC archives, which is the animations that happened. So how I know this is the first one to do that is through Josh Snares, who was doing a retrospective of all the Doctor Who animated ones. Next I have is the Dalek Invasion of Earth. I've seen half of this. I have not seen it in full, so this is a 2-disc special edition version of it. So, yeah, originally aired from the 21st of November to the 26th of December. So it's a 7-parter, I believe. Let me check the back of the booklet here. Yeah, I think it is. This is, back where each individual episode had a title and not just, the story title. So as well as that, I do on Blu-ray have the Peter Cushing Dalek Invasion of Earth 2150 AD Blu-ray. So yeah, a friend of mine found this for me in a charity shop for €1. I have yet to rewatch it because I haven't rewatched it since I was a kid. So yeah, all I need now is just the Doctor Who and the Daleks on either DVD or Blu-ray, and I'll have both of them. Continuing on with the first Doctor, another story that I have not seen, which is The Web Planet. I've heard mixed things about this story. So yeah, I think I might enjoy it. But then again, I don't know. We'll see whenever I decide to get around to watching it. Now, the next two I definitely have seen from William Hartnell, and that is The War Machines. This was the very first William Hartnell story I watched, and I have reviewed it. It's again in my Doctor Who Reviews and More playlist, as well as my Classic Doctor Who playlist. And I absolutely love this story. It's really, really good. It's towards the end of, obviously William Hartnell's run. But yeah, like I said, I enjoy it. The villains are great. I love Wotan in it. William Hartnell, even though he's not in it a ton, because this is around the time where he wasn't feeling well, is still great. And I love this scene at the end of one of the episodes where he's basically standing up to the War Machine. That is just a very iconic scene to me. And then, of course, I do have his regeneration story, which is the 10th Planet, where episode 4 is animated, but there is the surviving regeneration footage. And again, this is another one that I reviewed. It's one of the first of the classic Doctor Who's that I reviewed when I was doing the viewer voted Doctor Who reviews. So again, it's in 2 different playlists if you want to go check out my thoughts and opinions. Still holds up. Love the Mondasian Cybermen design because they're just so creepy. And I wish they would re-release the figures of the Mondasian Cybermen because I really want to get my hands on it, but they go for stupid prices on the secondary market. So yeah, that's the William Hartnell Doctor Who's that I have, except for one which we'll get to now in a second. So now we're moving on to the Patrick Troughton era, which I do have quite a few of. Starting off with, again, his very first appearance being The Power of the Daleks, which I have done a review for. So yeah, this is fully animated because only the audio and perhaps some telesnap recreations exist. So obviously mine comes with a slipcover. So here it is outside of the slip, and it's pretty good. Like, I do like Patrick Troughton. I definitely want to watch more of his era to have a full grasp on what I think of his Doctor. Because I haven't seen a lot of his stuff. I've seen this episode. I have seen the Mind Robber. I've seen him in the Three Doctors, the Five Doctors, and the Two Doctors, and that's about it, to be honest with you. Moving on to another Blu-ray, and that is, of course, the Macra Terror, which again I believe is another fully animated story, and it's one that I just have not seen. I just haven't gone around to it. But I will, excuse me, I will probably get around to it at some point this year. And yeah, so moving on, once I put this back into the slip, I have the Moonbase, which is another missing serial that's missing a few episodes that were animated. Two of the episodes were animated. I believe it's episodes 1 and 4. Because I know the surviving episodes also exist on the Lost in Time box set, and then of course they went and done the animation for it. But again, it's not a episode that I have watched yet, but I will get around to it eventually. Continuing on with the Cybermen, because I have the next one being The Tomb of the Cybermen. This is a lot of people's favorite Cybermen story, with the whole creepy vibes of the Cybermen bursting out of their stasis pods. I have not seen this episode. Again, it's just I'll get around to it when at some point this year, but we'll just have to wait and see. Next is the Ice Warriors. Again, another one that I have yet to see. Like I said, I haven't seen many of the Troughton era episodes. So there are, of course, 2 episodes animated, because there are some episodes that are missing from the story. So it's part animated, part surviving footage. So I look forward to actually seeing how the Ice Warriors came about in Doctor Who, because I do like the Ice Warriors from the few bits and pieces that I have seen of them from modern Who. Moving on to a recent pickup, and that is The Evil of the Daleks. Now, I bought this secondhand, so it did not come with a slip, unfortunately. But again, it's another fully animated adventure with the Daleks, and the very first appearance of the Dalek Emperor. So yeah, haven't seen it, so I can't really give my thoughts on it. And I believe I have this in the correct placement, that episode comes out before the Mind Robber, but I will probably fix that after I stop recording this. So yeah, Mind Robber was the very first Patrick Troughton episode I seen in full, and I loved it. I thought it was a great story. It's definitely, I would say, from the 2 full episodes that I've seen, being this and Power of the Daleks, this would be my favorite. So yeah, I have yet to get around to it, and I have the third and final Cybermen story for Mr. Troughton, being The Invasion. Again, I have not seen it. So, and again, we have some more animations being done for this, because most of the episodes are missing from the BBC archives, and I look forward to getting around to it at some point, because I do love the Cybermen, and I do love the design of the Cybermen. They're probably my third or fourth favorite design. And then the last Patrick Troughton episode that I have is the War Games. Now, I'm recording this prior to the colorization recut of the War Games. So as you're watching this, I have not seen it yet. But by the time this does come out in January, I will have seen and reviewed the colorization of it. But I have not seen the original 10-episode serial. So that might be something that I review at some point this year, just to compare and contrast to that version. This is 10 episodes long, compared to the 90-minute re-edit that we got. And then the last thing of both William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton is the Lost in Time box set. This has a bunch of single episodes of the surviving stories. Now, I will say this is almost not worth picking up. Simply because disc 3, every episode that is on disc 2, sorry, not disc 3, has been animated. So let's go over what we have on here. So the Crusades episodes 1 and 3. I know for the Blu-ray set, they did telesnap recreations for episodes 3 and 4 of the Crusades. Of the Crusade, so there's that does exist, but not as a standalone release. So it's only on that Blu-ray. Then of course you see here we have the Daleks Master Plan episodes 2, 5, and 10, which is an episode that is revered for being one of the best Dalek episodes ever, and it's a shame that we only have 3 of the surviving episodes. I really do hope that the Daleks Master Plan does get an animated story. The Celestial Toymaker episode 4 no longer matters because we do have a obviously reanimated version of that episode that came out for the 60th anniversary last year, which I do not own in my collection because, to be honest, I'm not a fan of that style of 3D animation that they done. Then we have the Underwater Menace episode 3, which I believe has been animated. The Moonbase episodes 2 and 4, which I did show I do own. The Faceless Ones episodes 1 and 3, which has been animated. The Evil of the Daleks, which, I showed off that I do indeed own. There it is right there. So that has been animated. The Abominable Snowman episode 2 has been animated. The Enemy of the World has been found in full, so there's no animations for that. It has been found in full, which I've seen half of that story. The Web of Fear, I believe, has also been animated. And then the last two, The Wheel in Space, episodes 3 and 6, and The Space Pirates episode 2 has not been animated, though there was a fan that did 3D animations for episodes for the missing episodes for The Wheel of Space that are available on YouTube. So that brings us to an end of the black and white era of Doctor Who, and as we now move on to the 70s, starting off with, of course, the James Bond of Doctor Who being the third Doctor. So we have Spearhead from Space on Blu-ray. I have done a review of this. I thoroughly enjoyed this episode, and I do love Jon Pertwee's Doctor. However, I am not a fan of the companion Liz Shaw. I just don't know what it is about her that just rubs me the wrong way. I've only seen her in this serial as well as some clips. But yeah, she just kind of rubs me the wrong way. Next up, we have Day of the Daleks, which is again another serial that I have reviewed on the channel that was voted for by you. And I don't mind it as a Dalek story. Could have been better, probably. But yeah, I didn't mind it all that much. Next is an episode that I have not seen, and that is The Curse of Peladon. So yeah, can't really say much about this story because I have not seen it. Now it comes as part of a box set, of which I still have. So this is the box set for the Peladon Tales. So we have The Curse of Peladon and The Monster of Peladon, which I will get to now in a second. And then the last one for this stack before I have to go grab another stack is again another episode that I have seen and have reviewed, and that is The Three Doctors. Yes, last year, 2023, for the show's 60th anniversary, I went back and reviewed the anniversary specials. This was the first one, and I love it. I love it to pieces. I love the interactions between the second Doctor and the third Doctor. It was nice to see William Hartnell for one last time. Obviously, he had deteriorated, so he couldn't partake in the full story. But still, it's a phenomenal story, and it is a must-watch for not only the first anniversary, but just the fact that it's such a iconic episode. So now I gotta go put these back on the shelf and grab a new stack. Okay, so I have the next stack. So again, continuing on with the Jon Pertwee era, I do have The Time Warrior, an episode that I have not seen, but I do know it's the first one to introduce us to the wonderful and the beautiful Elizabeth Slaton as Sarah Jane Smith. So I definitely do want to get onto that, and I believe it's also the first episode to feature the Sontarans. So that's interesting as well. Moving on to the next one in the Peladon Tales box set, being The Monster of Peladon. Again, a story that I have not seen. Moving on to the last Dalek story that Jon Pertwee had, being Death to the Daleks, a story that I do not believe I have seen. So yeah, I'll definitely need to get around to that at some point. And then wrapping up the Jon Pertwee era, we have Planet of the Spiders, an episode that I have not seen. I have seen the regeneration though, but as for the rest of the story itself, I have not seen. Now we get on to my favorite Doctor of all time, and that is Tom Baker. And Tom's run is the one that I have. I'd say I have the most stories of. Yeah, I think Colin Baker might, or the second Doctor might be a close second. I'll have to count after this. But obviously, I do have the first Tom Baker story, Robot, which I have twice, technically. Technically, I bought this digitally on my Xbox 360 back in the day, and that's how I first watched it and loved it, because, I love Tom Baker. He's my favorite Doctor. And I have indeed reviewed Robot as well on the channel. It was one of the first ones that I've done. So yeah, again, it's in two different playlists. Next is the Ark in Space Special Edition. I have seen bits of this, but I've not seen it in full, so I can't really talk too much about it. Next is my most controversial opinion, and that is Genesis of the Daleks. I do not like this story. It does nothing for me. It is 2 episodes too long. The reason why I don't like it is because it was overhyped for me. So going in with so high expectations, the episode just could not reach those expectations. And that is why it kind of fell flat for me. Is it a good story? Yes, obviously. But because it didn't reach those expectations that a lot of people had put into my head, I just didn't enjoy it all that much. And that is a recurring theme for not just Genesis of the Daleks, but a bunch of other media as well. Continuing on for another episode that I have reviewed, being Revenge of the Cybermen. Again, I love these Cybermen designs. It is really, really good. And of course, it ties back in to the Ark of Space. So continuing on to Terror of the Zygons. I have seen, I think, parts of this, I want to say, but I don't think I have seen it in full either. So yeah, I'll definitely get around to it eventually to fully finish it off. And then we have Pyramids of Mars. This episode is one of the best episodes of Doctor Who, period. And not only that, they recently did bring back Sutekh. However, I wish they would have kept the original Sutekh design. Now, there is another version of this, which was for the Tales of the TARDIS re-edit with some newer effects, which honestly look horrendous in my opinion. And they only exist on the Season 1 Blu-ray for the most recent stuff. And the reason why it's gone a bit darker now is because my phone is overheating and the flash on the phone has gone off. I'm not entirely too sure what percent my battery is, so let me just put it on charge, and then we'll get back to the Tom Baker episodes that I have in my collection. So, moving on to The Brain of Morbius, an episode again that I have not seen. But this again is, crucial to the lore of Doctor Who because of Chris Chibnall and the Timeless Child. So yeah, it's important for that reasons. But I have not seen that episode. And again, as the running theme with the episodes that I own that I have not seen, I will get around to it eventually. This episode I have seen, of course, being The Deadly Assassin, and I love it. I don't think I've seen it in full, but I have seen quite a bit of it. And obviously, it has the controversial the Doctor being choked underwater cliffhanger at the end of one of the episodes. I believe it's the first time, correct me if I'm wrong, it's the first time since the War Games where the Doctor has stepped foot back on Gallifrey. So yeah, moving on to the Face of Evil. I think I've seen I haven't seen it in full. I think I've seen the beginning, episode 1, and that's about as much as I can remember. I wonder if this will help if I if I do this. It's not even switched on. That's me being an idiot. Anyway, moving on to another episode that I have not seen, being The Talons of Wang Chian. Just haven't gotten around to it. Destiny of the Daleks is the next one, which I have seen, and I do like. Not a lot of people like this story. I do. It's a sequel to the Genesis of the Daleks. I'm not 100% sure if I have reviewed it or not. I don't think I have, but if I have, it'll be in the playlists. Next up is what a lot of people count to be the best episodes of all time, being City of Death. I have not seen it, and if I do go to watch it, I need to lower my expectations because of everyone claiming it to be one of the best serials of all time. Because then if I go and watch it, I probably will come out not liking it if that's the case. But moving on to an unreleased story. This is a completely different version because there's a lot of versions of this out there, and that is Shada. Now, this was included in the More Than 30 Years in the TARDIS box set, which came with this and the More Than 30 Years in the TARDIS. Now, there have been many different versions of it. There was an 8th Doctor Big Finish audio. Excuse me. There was another reconstruction for this episode. And then recently enough, they done a animation for the scenes that are missing. So a lot of this episode was filmed. And to be honest, it's a great episode. I really enjoyed it. Even just watching this version, which had Tom Baker explaining the parts of the story that wasn't filmed. So yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. Obviously, I'm going to need to track down the animated version to fully experience the episode because it has been a number of years. But we're getting to the end of the Tom Baker era with Keeper of Trocken. Now, unfortunately, it's on this DVD files version. That's the way CEX sent it to me. And it sucks because I wish it was in uniform with the rest of the stories. But oh well. But like I said, I have yet to watch it. And then lastly, for the Tom era, again in the DVD file version, we have Logopolis, an episode I have seen and I do love it. It's a great story. It's a great regeneration story. The tease of the Watcher leading up to the regeneration is superb. There's the Watcher there. But again, I wish it was in uniform with the rest of my collection. And that's all for the Tom Baker era. So that's what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 stories out of the Tom Baker era. Obviously, there's a whole lot more, because he was the Doctor for the longest time. But that's just what I have for my collection. Moving on to the Peter Davison era, 4 to Doomsday. The first Peter Davison story I watched, and it's again a story that I have reviewed, and I like it. It's not bad. For the second story of Peter Davison. Now, I have, of course, watched Castrovalva, and I absolutely despise that episode. But yeah, 4 to Doomsday is not a bad story. Let me actually move it over here. And we're getting close to the end of this stack, which means I'll have to quickly stand up and get another one. But we have Black Orchid, an episode that I have not seen. so I won't really go spend too much time on that. The same with Arc of Infinity. I do know, however, does see the return of Omega. So yeah, I definitely do want to get around to it at some point. And then not the last Fifth Doctor story that I have, but the last of this stack before I had to stand up and get some more, is Earthshock. A phenomenal episode. I love it to pieces. I'm sad that they killed off Adric in it because, contrary to popular belief, I do like Adric as a companion. He's not as bad as people say he is. You know, granted, I've only seen him in Logopolis, Castrovalva, Forge to Doomsday, and this. So I don't have much experience with Adric as a companion, but from what I have seen, I really do enjoy him, and that is this stack. That's basically one alcove of my shelf sorted. Time for me to go put these back onto the shelf and grab the next stack. Okay, so I have the next stack, which is going to see the end of the classic era, moving into the modern era, and I just realized I didn't put on the flash. There we go. Now that's better. So yeah, continuing on and actually wrapping up the Fifth Doctor era with just two more stories, that being the Five Doctors special edition. So this is kind of like, it's not the full 4 episodes in parts. So this is the version that, it's kind of like, the new colorizations that they've been doing, where it's an edited down version. So yeah, I reviewed it. I've made my opinions on it well known. It's a good story. The Three Doctors is just better. I'm sorry, it just is. Like, out of all the anniversary specials, the Three Doctors is still by far the best. So finishing off with the Peter Davison era is, of course, the Caves of Androzani. I don't believe I've seen all the episodes in this. But I do remember liking what I have seen of it. So yeah, moving on into the Sixth Doctor era with Attack of the Cybermen, which is a story that I have seen. I'm pretty sure I have seen it in full because it is only 2 parts. And I remember liking it as my prop. This is my first introduction to Colin Baker's Doctor. And what I've seen, I did like. I've seen this and the 2 Doctors, and that's my only introduction to the on-screen at the time, because there was a Dalek story here that I did review that I did not like. But we'll get to that now in a second. Next is Vengeance on Varos, a story that I have not seen, so I'm not going to delve too much time into it. Then we get to the Dalek episode that I was talking about, which was Revelations of the Daleks. An episode I hate. It's not a good Dalek story. I'm sorry, it is absolute trash. It just did absolutely nothing for me. As a Dalek story, there are better Dalek stories out there. There really is. Like, the Sixth Doctor Big Finish Audio Jubilee is a far superior Dalek story than this. I'm sorry, it just is. But moving on to another box set that I have. And it's actually wrapping up the Sixth Doctor. I'm going to have to pause it now in a second once I show this off to go grab some other things that I need to show off in relation to this. And that being Trial of a Time Lord. So here we have disc number 1 for Trial of a Time Lord. Then let me actually split these up properly to put them there to split up the Doctors. We have Trial of a Time Lord disc number 2. We have Trial of a Time Lord disc number 3. And then we have Trial of a Time Lord disc number 4. A story that I have not seen. I have to admit, I have not seen it, but let me pause and grab I need to grab 2 things. Okay, so obviously the thing that I went to grab was the actual box set itself for Trial of a Time Lord DVD version. So yeah, that's it there. I just went to go grab it as well. I own Trial of a Time Lord twice. And the second one that I own it on is VHS. Yes. For the 30th anniversary, they released The Trial of a Time Lord on VHS on 3 tapes. I have it. I bought it. They were brand new. Obviously, I've since tested them, so they're no longer technically never used. But yeah, I have it on VHS, and if I were to watch this story, I'd more than likely end up watching the VHS of it. Just to have that that little experience. So let me leave that there. So now we get on to the Sylvester McCoy era, of which I have 4. Yes, 4 stories of him. I really do need to get more, to be honest with you, because I've only seen one of them, one of the stories that I have, and that is the first one to show off. And that is Remembrance of the Daleks, a phenomenal story, an amazing, best Dalek story, one of the best. It's technically an anniversary episode, but not really an anniversary episode. But it was released at the time of the anniversary for the show, which is why because it's not technically an anniversary, it's why I didn't review it in 2023, but I love and adore it. I have yet to rewatch it because it's been a while. Let me just move this over so I get all 3 of these in frame. And now we get to another one that I have just not seen, and that is Silver Nemesis. This is a story that I hear mixed, a lot of actually negative, not mixed, a lot of negative stuff about it. That it's not the greatest. It's very convoluted. I believe there's a version out there that was, edited and edited down that is more easy to follow. I believe that is on the most recent, as of recording this, the most recent Blu-ray box set. So yeah. But I have not seen it. But that My Silver Nemesis actually does something I'm supposed to mention during the 4th Doctor run, but it comes from another box set, and that is the Cybermen box set that has Revenge of the Cybermen and Silver Nemesis. So I just wanted to show that off as well. Getting to the end here for the classic run, where we have another episode I have not seen, being Battlefield, and the last scene of the Brigadier in Doctor Who, aside from his appearance in the Sarah Jane Adventures. But for Doctor Who itself, that was his last appearance. And then, of course, I do have the very last episode, being Survival. Again, an episode that I have not seen, so I can't really comment too much on it. And yeah, we're now at the end of the classic era, because I have, of course, the More Than 30 Years in the TARDIS documentary, the 1993 anniversary documentary that, goes in with the Trial of a Time Lord there, which I have watched. Don't remember anything really about it, but it came with, the Shada DVD that I showed off earlier. And then, of course, I do have the TV movie on Blu-ray. I absolutely adore this movie. It is amazing. It is superb. I love Paul McGann as the Doctor. I have listened to some of his Big Finish audio. I wish he, of course, continued on in the role. I just love him. I love this story, and I'm happy that I own it, specifically on Blu-ray, because it does look great on Blu-ray. Then finally actually properly wrapping up the classic era is Scream of the Shalka, the 40th anniversary special, which again I did review, because the Shalka Doctor is now technically a doctor, thanks to the season 1 episode Rogue. So I did have to review it, and it is shit. It is god awful. I hated every minute of it. But again, Doctor Who reviews and more, and my classic Doctor Who's playlists will have my reviews for that. So that's wrapping up the classic era. Now we dive into the modern era, starting with series 1 on Blu-ray. It's not the only modern Doctor Who Blu-ray that I have. I do have a lot, but in terms of the first Russell T Davies era, it's the only one that I have, except for when we get to the newer the newer era. But yeah, so disc 1 there has Christopher Eccleston, disc 2 has Billy Piper, and the final disc has a Slideen. Season 1 is the near perfect season. For me, the two episodes that really let it down is The End of the World and The Long Game. Those are the only two episodes that, in my opinion, really do drag it down. Series 2, I have as volumes, courtesy of AJ over at AJ's Movie Place. This was again another one of the kind gifts that he sent me. Like I said, we're going to see a lot more of that now. So that is, of course, the season 2 volume 1, which has the Christmas Invasion and New Earth on it. And in there, I do still have the letter that he wrote for me when he sent it. We have series 2, volume 2, with the episodes Tooth and Claw, School Reunion, and The Girl in the Fireplace. We have series 2, volume 3, which is Rise of the Cybermen, The Age of Steel, and The Idiot's Lantern. And then we have series 2, volume 4, which has some sentimental value to me because I do remember watching the Impossible Planet and the Satan Pit quite a lot because I do love those episodes. And Love of Monsters is not a bad episode. I actually do enjoy it. And then lastly, for this stack, before I had to get up and get a new one, is series 2, volume 5, which has Fear Her, Army of Ghosts, and Doomsday. With Fear Her, at the time of this recording, is still off of iPlayer because of, that thing that happened. So yeah, now I need to pause and go grab the some more of the modern series as we're getting close to the end of actually my DVD collection, DVD Blu-ray collection, and this is the only Doctor Who VHS that I own. Okay, we're now definitely knee-deep in the modern Doctor Who era. So we'll be going through these rather quickly. We, of course, now are moving on to the complete third series of Doctor Who. A forgettable season, to be quite honest with you. If it wasn't for the Master and the Weeping Angels towards the end, this would be a very forgettable season. A lot of the early episodes aren't the greatest. And it's not really until the Family of Blood two-parter that the show really kicks into gear. The series kicks into gear and, being really, really good. And then it fumbles the end towards the end with the last of the Time Lords, unfortunately. So I also have one of the animated, the two CBBC animated Doctor Who episodes, that being The Infinite Quest, which when I was doing my Series 3 review, I did include this in there because, the costume of Martha that she's wearing, I would place this early in Series 3. So it's actually pretty good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So I would highly recommend, if you can get your hands on it, to give it a watch. Then, of course, I have the complete Series 4. Now, this was a massive headache when it came to me watching this, because the original Series 4 box set that I had purchased, by the time I got around to watching it I say last year because I'm recording this in 2024, but in 2023 when I got around to watching it, there was some disc rot on a lot of the discs. The first disc, so I couldn't watch the Children in Need special. I couldn't watch Voyage of the Damned. It wouldn't work in either my disc drive, my 360, or my Xbox One. So I had to get a replacement one. And again, I'm still having some issues when I've got this edition. So I basically Frankenstein together a decent enough version of Series 4 to be able to finally watch it. So I still can't watch the Children in Need Time Crash special. I know it's now easily able to be watched on YouTube, because when I was trying to watch it for my review in 2023, it just was not possible. And now we get into the 2009 specials, which I have Planet of the Dead, which should be titled Planet of the Shite. The first Easter special that we have for Doctor Who, and it sucks. I hate Michelle Ryan's character She is so fucking unlikable. And how the hell did she get her own Big Finish audios? Like, seriously, come on. She is the most unlikable of this episode. But this also teases the end for the Doctor. Actually, I tell a lie. I jumped ahead briefly because they're, for whatever reason, they're out of order. Um, I do have the next Doctor Christmas special, which I thoroughly enjoyed. It's a really great Christmas special. I enjoyed David Morrissey in the role. Although it's not as bad as people claim it to be. To be completely honest with you. Now back to this. It's just shite. I'm sorry, but it is. But again, it teases the end of David Tennant because it was just before these specials went into production that it was announced that he was leaving the show in 2009. So that's why we didn't get a full season. We got 4 specials. So that was special number 1. Special number 2 was The Waters of Mars, which is everyone's favorite, one of their a lot of people's favorite episode, and it's a great episode. It holds up. It is spooky. It is scary. These motherfuckers are scary as all hell. I remember being, in 2009, being absolutely afraid of them. And it's, it's a phenomenal story, and it's the Kickstarter of the Time Lord Victorious, which obviously then went on to, later on to expand into Big Finish comics, all of that jazz for that, because we never really got a proper resolution for that. We kind of do at the end of the episode because it teases him going into, his regeneration. But the next one that I have is the other animation for the 10th Doctor that we got, which was Dreamland. And I remember this being on repeat so much as a kid on CBBC. And it's not great. The animation is it's just not there. It's very ugly. It's, very run-of-the-mill. The companions aren't likable, but I believe she was voiced by David Tennant's now wife. But yeah, it's not the greatest. And then, of course, we wrap up the David Tennant era with The End of Times Parts 1 and 2. I remember being so hyped for this, it was a Christmas... it was going to be a 2-parter, so it then bled into the first New Year special. And it's had a lot of mixed bag. It's a mixed bag with a lot of fans now, with either parts 1 and 2. I still love it. I still think it's a really great episode. I enjoyed John Sims coming back. I just loved every last bit of it. And, it's a good regeneration episode, to be completely honest with you. And now we get into the Matt Smith era. And again, we have another gift from AJ over at AJ's Movie Place, where he kindly gifted me on Blu-ray Series 5 in volumes. So we have Series 5 Volume 1, which if I remember correctly, he was in a rush sending these, so it did not come with a letter. So there's the Series 5 Volume 1, Series 5 Volume 2, and then there's the back of it there. Series 5 Volume 3, Series 5 Volume 4, and that's it for Series 5. Now, Series 5 is a perfect season. It is a perfect season. I love every single episode in Series 5. Yes, even that one that you're thinking of like, oh, how can you like that episode? That episode is absolutely terrible. I love it. It is a perfect season through and through. It is the only good Moffat season that he has ever produced until Series 10, 5 seasons later. And yeah, it's just perfect. It's the perfect jumping on point for some fans of the show. And it's just a shame that the next season, Series 6, was a massive flop. It sucks. It was the first season to be split into 2. Simply because he just had this this thing in mind for the opening for Let's Kill Hitler, and that is the only reason that it was split in 2. literally that corn maze crop circle that we see at the beginning of that episode, that is why this episode was split. This season was split into two. Not only that, it's just convoluted. It's stupid. It has no proper resolution whatsoever. It started with an interesting premise of the Doctor being killed permanently by the looks of things. And we're trying to piece together who done it, why, what was their motives, and we do get the answer of who is River Song in this. But yeah, it's a shit series. I'm sorry. There's only a small handful of episodes that I really really like. But like I said, that was the first season to be split up into parts because series 7 was also split up into parts for reasons I do not know. Well, actually, I do know because at this time, this 2012/2013 was when these two came out. And of course, that was leading into the 50th anniversary. So Stephen Moffat was up to his arse in writing this series, which again is a terrible series. I'm not going to lie. Whilst working on Sherlock, whilst writing then the 50th anniversary and getting all the stuff in place for the 50th anniversary. And because of that, he fumbled the bag. I'm not going to lie. So series 7 part 1 is only 5 episodes, and we see the goodbye of the Pawns. Asylum of the Dalek is a great episode. I really do like it. Dinosaurs on a Spaceship is not bad. A Town Called Mercy has grown on me. And then the Power of 3 is probably the only Chris Chibnall episode that I really, really like. And then Angels Take Manhattan is a brilliant swan song. Like, say what you will about it, it's a good send-off for Amy and Rory. However, you know my thoughts and opinions on Clara by now. I despise her. I absolutely do. Nothing against Jenna Coleman whatsoever. It's just so stupid. He really tried with this, and he failed. You know, the Snowman, shit. The Bells of St. John, not actually bad on second watch through. The Rings of Akaden, I swear the only reason The Rings of Akaden is touted as a fantastic episode, which it isn't, is because of the speech the Doctor gives. That is the only reason people love that episode. Prove me fucking wrong. Cold War, not a bad episode. Hyde would have been a better episode if it didn't end with the love, the whole love side of things that I went to. Journey to the Center of the TARDIS, the only really great episode from Series 7 Part 2. The Crimson Horror, shite. Nightmare in Silver, I can take it or leave it. And The Name of the Doctor, my god was it shit. Absolutely fucking atrocious. And that's for this stack. We're getting, like I said, to the end of not only the Matt Smith era, but the end of my Doctor Who DVD and Blu-ray collection. So we have, of course, series... I think we still have the 50th anniversary up until the most, as of recording this, the Church of Ruby Road, because I don't have season 1, and then we have the specials to show off. But I'm going to save that for another day. Obviously, as you can tell, I'm not ending this video off because we're still getting started. But I am tired and I want to go to bed as I'm recording this on the... I don't know. Let me see, what day is it? The 9th of December. So yeah. Anyway, I'll be back in a second for you. For continuity purposes, it is the next day, as I said, and we are, as I said, getting very close to the end here. We have the end of the 11th Doctor, all of 12 and 13, and the start of the spin-offs as well. So, finishing up with the Matt Smith era, as I said, I do have the 50th anniversary. It's the 3D Blu-ray version. Funny enough, I don't actually need a 3D TV to watch it in Blu-ray, I don't think. Even though it does say, 3D HD TV, compatible glasses, a 3D player, but I think I'm able to do it on my Xbox. But well, I know I can play it without the 3D effect on the Xbox. And as a special now, reflecting on it 10, 12 years later, it's not the greatest, as something that celebrates 50 years of the show, it's not the best. To be honest with you, like I said, the Three Doctors is the definitive anniversary special. But moving on to Matt Smith's final special, The Time of the Doctor, on Blu-ray. Now, the great thing about this Blu-ray set is it has all of his Christmas specials on here. So disc 1, as you see here, it has A Christmas Carol, The Doctor, the Widow, and the Wardrobe, and The Snowman. And then disc 2 is his final episode, which appeared in my top 5 favorite Christmas specials that I did last December. And that's it for the Matt Smith era. Now we move on to the Peter Capaldi era, starting with Series 8. It's okay. It's not bad. There are definitely episodes that I like, and a lot of episodes that I don't like Time Heist, Into the Forest of the Night, Flatline, Kill the Moon for as another example. But there are episodes that I like Deep Breath, Into the Dalek, Mummy and the Orient Express, and then the two-part finale. And it introduced us to my favorite incarnation of the Master, being Missy, played by Michelle Gomez. And then, unfortunately, unlike with Matt Smith having his first Christmas special, only having 2 good Christmas specials, Capaldi only has one. This is not one of them. Last Christmas is a dumpster fire of an episode, and a massive waste of Nick Frost, in my opinion. And this should have been the departure of Clara. She should not have come back for Series 9. She should have this should have been her final story. Speaking of Series 9, a marginally improved series over Series 8. I definitely like a lot of the episodes on here, like The Magician's Apprentice and The Witch's Familiar, Under the Lake Before the Flood. I don't like The Girl Who Died and The Woman Who Lived. They're not the greatest. The Zygon Invasion and Zygon Inversion are amazing. Sleep No More is shit. Face the Raven I like because it's the death of Clara. Heaven Sent is probably one of the best episodes out there. And Hellbent, it's not as bad as people say it is. And then the Husbands of River Song, I do like, but it's still, I only like it because it's the end. We finally get to see River's end, before she goes to the library. And it's just the ending part that I really like. Granted, I haven't watched it since I reviewed it in 2023, so maybe I might change my tune again when I rewatch it. However, one thing that I do love is Series 10. To me, Series 10 is on par with Series 5. I love Bill. Bill is one of my favorite companions. And I love a lot of the episodes on here. They're really good. Again, it's, in my opinion, almost a near perfect season. I think the one episode that I really don't like is Eaters of Light. I believe that's what it's called. And that one there, I think it's called Knock Knock. Because it's not saying... oh no, here we go. It has the return of Dr. Mysterio, which isn't great, but I do like it kind of now. The pilot is good. Smile, I grew around to it. Thin Ice is good. Knock Knock, I hate. Oxygen, I love. Extremis, The Pyramid at the End of the World, and The Lie of the Land, I've grown to like. I have. Empress of Mars is okay. The Eaters of Light, again, is one that I really don't like. And then World Enough in Time and The Doctor Falls is my favorite Doctor Who episode of all time. It's the reason I have a poster of it. Actually, let me start to separate Doctors again. I've forgotten to do that. And then the only good Christmas special from Capaldi is Twice Upon a Time. Twice Upon a Time. I really enjoy this. I love David Bradley as the first Doctor. I love Capaldi's swan song. I love the fact that we have a proper send-off for Bill. It's really, really good. I enjoy it. And that is the end of the Capaldi era. And now we move into the very controversial Jodie Whittaker era. Starting off with Series 11. I have done a video on this. It was one of the early videos that I done on the channel, but it was not done in the style that I like. The style that I done the video, which is no longer on YouTube, by the way. I privated that video. Is I reviewed up as far as Eva the Daleks in 10 words or less. And it was, the start of the channel, so the quality, the editing wasn't all that great, which is why I plan to this year do a big long retrospective of her era, give it a second try, technically a third try because I watched it as it was airing. I gave it another try in 2020 1/2022. And then, so this will be my third time giving it a shot. There are episodes that I do like, being It Takes You Away. Rosa is another great one. The first three episodes are pretty good. The Woman Who Fell to Earth, the Ghost Monument, Rosa, those are pretty good episodes. And again, like I said, I do really like It Takes You Away. But it has its problems. But I will, whenever I do that video, I will get around to explaining it. And then we have Series 12, which is a stark improvement, but it still has its issues, in my opinion. So this also includes the 2018, the first Dalek New Year special, and in my opinion, I really do not like Sacha Dhawan's master. He tries so hard to be John Sims, and I hate it. I really do. And I love the lone Cybermen design. I really do. And I kind of like the new Cybermen design / Cybermaster design. And, it was first time having Jack back in a decade by the time this came out in 2020. And yeah, it's an alright bag. There are episodes that I do like, and there's a lot of episodes that I really do not like. And then, of course, we get to Revolution of the Daleks, the second of the New Year specials, and again featuring back Captain Jack before the whole John Barrowman situation came to light. And all that happened. And again, it's not bad of an episode. It's pretty good as a wrap up of the end of the Series 12 two-parter, technically three-parter. And then we get on to Jodie's final series, being Series 13, Flux. I love Flux. I do. I really do. It's, as a 6-part serial, it's really, really good. Now, there are episodes that I don't like, and there's a lot of issues that I do have with this, with these 6 episodes, where half of them are good and half of them are shit. But I still thoroughly enjoy it. Village of the Angels is probably the best story out of them all, in my opinion. And, it gives us more insight onto the Timeless Child, which didn't really get touched on too much. So I was expanding on that a little bit, but again, it fell short because Chibnall just wasn't going to give us the answers that he set up, and that's why Russell is starting to having to pick up the slack from that, in a sense. And then we get on to the final gift that AJ sent me. Yes, this was the last Doctor Who DVD that he sent me, or Blu-ray. And that is Eva the Daleks and Legend of the Sea Devils. The reason he sent this to me was because he had picked up the Steelbook, which had this and the next story on it. Both of these episodes are shit. I'm sorry. I really did not like Eva the Daleks. I know a lot of people did. I thought it was god-awful. These two right here are so unlikable. And that sucks because, Aisling there, she's a good Irish comedian. But it just sucks. Like, he's just creepy. I'm sorry, he just is. Like, I just don't believe it. And then Legend of the Sea Devil was originally supposed to be the final story. That was where Jodie was going to regenerate. And the editing suffered so hard because of that. They had to edit a lot of stuff out because of it. And to be honest, Dan should have left at Flux. after Flux. He should have just been a companion for that series, and not not have continued on for the next three specials, in my opinion. And then the end of the Jodie Whittaker era is the Power of the Doctor. Yeah, so like I said, the Steelbook that was released when this came out had all three of these episodes on it, which is why AJ kindly sent this to me back in 2022. So yeah, I haven't seen it since it came out. This was the BBC Centennial special. I like it. I definitely remember liking it a lot. I thought it was really, really great. Definitely has its flaws. Again, I really do not like Sacha Dhawan as the Master. I really, really, really despise him. But yeah, that's I will need to get around to rewatching it at some point, because I haven't seen it since it came out. And that is the end of the Jodie era. And now we get on to the Russell T Davies 2 era with the 60th anniversary specials. Now, this is very divisive amongst fans. I do not like the Star Beast. The Star Beast is definitely the weakest story out of the three. Now, I haven't rewatched them since they originally aired. But I definitely don't like the Star Beast. I really enjoyed Wild Blue Yonder. I really enjoyed the giggle. I know a lot of people don't like the giggle towards the end with the whole bi regeneration. I don't mind it. I'm being honest. I really do not mind it whatsoever. But yeah, like I said, 2 out of 3, I do like. And then we get on to the 2022 the 2023 Christmas special, and that is The Church on Ruby Road. Now, I haven't seen it since it came out, but I remember really, really liking it. And as season one progressed, I really do like Ncudi's Doctor, and I really do like Millie Gibson's Ruby Sunday. Though that whole, season one's a mixed cuddle of fish for me. Unfortunately, I do not have season 1 on DVD or Blu-ray because I'm not paying 40 to 60 euro for it, when a lot of the fluff that's on it is just extras that are on YouTube for free, so that's why I haven't picked it up. So now we move on to spin-offs, which I have nearly all of the spin-offs, the Doctor Who spin-offs, starting with Class. I have only seen one episode of this. That's it. I've only seen just the one episode. And I haven't gone back to it yet, and I probably have no intentions on going back to Class to give it a proper watch through. It's just not for me. And then I have one of the early Doctor Who spin-offs, and that is K9 and Company, A Girl's Best Friend. I have seen half of this. I have not seen it in full, but it was supposed to be the first proper spin-off. It came out in 1981, Boxing Day of 1981, and it was supposed to start off a spin-off with K9 and Sarah, which didn't happen until, the revival in 2005. So, just a handful of more DVDs to go, and then it's on to the action figures. Okay, very small stack left to go, starting with the Australian K9 Series 1 Volume 1. Now, I remember seeing, I think, the first episode of this on YouTube, because this was an Australian production, from what I can remember. And it's largely forgotten, from what I have seen, within the Doctor Who community. I do know that there does exist a full season 1 on DVD, and I cannot remember if it got cancelled after the first season or if it actually got a season 2. So someone can correct me in the comments down below. Moving on to the Sarah Jane Adventures, because I am missing quite a few seasons from this. I'm missing season 2 and season 5. So starting off with series 1 here. Now, it is of course missing the slipcover, because that is how I bought it, because I paid 50 cents for this, and yeah, I obviously grew up with Sarah Jane, the Sarah Jane Adventures. Eventually, got introduced to it on the CBBC. Um, and I love it, and it made me have a more strong appreciation for Liz Slayton and the character of Sarah Jane. So, as I said, I do have the complete third series. As I said, I'm missing 2 and 5. 5 is going to be the most difficult one to acquire because of how pricey it is. But it was around series 2, series 3 is when I really got heavily into the Sarah Jane Adventures, and then my mother did buy me series 1. That isn't my original copy, unfortunately. And so of course I then watched through most of series 1. But I also really enjoyed this one because this is the one that has the wedding of Sarah Jane on it. Which was when the 10th Doctor showed up in 2009, either before or after he had already filmed his regeneration. So that, it was nice to see. And then we have the complete fourth series, which also has a Doctor in it. Yes, it has Matt Smith. As the first time Russell T Davies actually wrote for the 11th Doctor, because normally Stephen Moffat was the one who was writing. And so this came out after series 5 and just before the Christmas special. Because I remember being really, really hyped to watch it, because it also was the first time Joe Grant came back to the show. And I really, really did enjoy that special. And then we get on to the Torchwoods, which I have all of. So I have series 1, which I have reviewed in full. And I've also done series 2. I have reviewed them. I have to say, series 2 is definitely stronger than series 1. There's a lot of episodes in series 1 that I did not like, but with series 2 I really, really liked. Especially Owen's theme that got introduced in this is definitely one of my favorite Murray Gold scores from the Doctor Who universe. And then we have Children of Earth, which initially when I first watched it for the first time back in 2022, I did not like it. I thought it started off strong, but as it went on, I just was disinterested in it. But then when I rewatched it last year for my review, I changed my tune because I did something different. I watched the 5 episodes spread out over 5 different days. I didn't just binge it within like a day or two, like I did previously. So that's what let me enjoy it. So I definitely would say that is the preferred method of watching Children of Earth, because my opinions definitely did change after that. And then we have the final series, which is Miracle Day, which again I really, really enjoyed. I thought it was absolutely amazing. A lot of people really don't like Miracle Day. I just don't get it. I thought it was amazing, and I still do. And then we get to 2 more things, and then we're on to the action figures. And that is the movie An Adventure in Space and Time. Now, this isn't, of course, the original cover for it. If I open it and take out the disc, you will see the original art on the back there. But I went for this art because this is mimicking one of the Doctor Who annuals that came out around that time. So yes, I have reviewed this. It is an amazing story. David Browley done absolutely amazing. And I know for the 60th, they came out with a new version that included Ncuti Gatwa in it, because in this we do see Matt Smith, because again, this came out for the 50th. And I think is what, because I did watch it after the Daleks in Colour. I think they even had to cut out some of the stuff in relation to An Unearthly Child, but someone do correct me if I'm wrong on that one, because again, I never watched it. Except for, this version that I own. And then the last thing that I have is Series 1 Volume 2. Why? Why do I have this if I still have the Blu-ray? And the answer is simple. I did mention it when I talked about the series, when I was showing off my Series 1 Blu-ray. This was the first thing Doctor Who I ever owned after I got into the show. Series 1 Volume 2. And so these 3 episodes, Aliens of London, World War III, and Dalek, were the episodes I watched over and over and over and over and over again. Now, this isn't my original copy because that was scratched to hell and probably long since gone. But I loved this. And it is so nostalgia for me because after getting into Doctor Who, this is all I had until Series 2 came out. And so these were the episodes that I would watch repeatedly. So that's why I love Aliens of London and World War III. I know a lot of people don't like them, but I absolutely love and adore those two episodes. And Dalek is one of the best episodes of Series 1. And that is my DVD and Blu-ray / VHS collection. Now we get on to the action figures. Okay, so for the non-duplicates that I have, the ones that I have on display, I'm not going to take them all off individually and, go through them. I'll just, film me going around and talking about the figures. And then the ones that I do have duplicates that I don't have in the room, I'll go grab them afterwards. So starting here, we have some spare Doctors. Except for Doctor number 8 here. I don't have a spare one. I just didn't have a TARDIS or companion to put him with. And why is it not focusing? There we go. And then, of course, we have 10 with the trench coat there. And then we have 11 from, I believe, is either the Snowmen or it's from his final story. And then behind him there, we have Doctor number 13 and another 10. But I'm using that as a replacement for Doctor number 14 because I did not like the head sculpt on that figure whatsoever. So that is why I don't own it. And then we have Romana 2 there that I got in a pack. We have Graham O'Brien, we have Captain Jack, we have an Ood, we have some of my Cybermen here, the one from the Pandora Opens. Then we have a normal Cyberman. We have a Clockwork figure with his head. We have the Dalek from the first Jodie New Year special. And then continuing on, I do have an Amy there, as well as a River Song. She was supposed to have her gun, but that's gone walkabout. Up here, I do have the werewolf from the episode Tooth and Claw. If I can just get him on there. That's the only place I have for him. The same with the Krillitang here. Now, this is not my original Krillitang. We'll get to him now in a second. But this is a complete Krillitang. Moving on down, we have the other of Jodie's companions, Ryan Sinclair. We have the Master, freshly regenerated. We have Romana 1 there. We have a Sladine, and we have a normal Jadoon Trooper, which came out in the 2007 set, and it's actually not my original Jadoon, because it actually has everything that comes with it. And now we get to the sonic screwdrivers. So I have the 7/8 Doctor screwdriver, which does work. And it's supposed to be held this way, not this way. From watching the movie, it's the bullet end that he holds it. Now, that could be the wrong way that, it was held in the movie, but that's just the way I seen it done in the movie, and that's the way I will hold it. Now, here is just a regular pair of 3D glasses that I'm using for the Sonic glasses that we see Capaldi use for a season in Series 9. Then we have 11/12 screwdriver. Now, this is a proper screwdriver as well. So the top bit is plastic, and then the bottom bit is actual proper metal, because you would get a drill bit or a screwdriver bit, and you would stick it in there because it's magnetized, so you can pull the top bit off. And it's usually, you could also use it as a screwdriver, but even after putting in fresh batteries to it, it just does not work, unfortunately. Moving on to the other side here, we do have Jodie's screwdriver, which does not work, again, even though I put fresh batteries in, for whatever reason, it just does not work. And I've gotten used to this screwdriver, I'm not going to lie. From having it and holding it in my hand, it's not a bad screwdriver. I have grown to actually like it. Now, this screwdriver is from a Build-A-Screwdriver set. Let me just switch hand here because I'm not using a tripod. So yeah, this came from a Build Your Own Sonic Screwdriver set that came with the 11th Doctor screwdriver and parts to build your own one. So this is kind of like a steampunk screwdriver. And it's supposed to have a little yoke inside, so that way when you press the button, it does make screwdriver sounds. And this is the only surviving one that I have in my collection. And then, of course, we get to the 14th Doctor screwdriver, which, in my opinion, he should have kept. He should have used that screwdriver as well, instead of getting to this screwdriver, which, you know, it's not one that I like at all. So, yeah, we have the screwdriver here. We have that pops up, and then we have this that pops out at the side, and then it has sounds, 1, 2, 3. So because mine is the standard version, it does not have any of the extra features that the one that they released on the character website version. And I'm not going to get the red one that from last year's Christmas special. I have the one and I don't really like it, so we're going to move on. So yes, this is the main Doctor Who figure collection that you see in the background of all of my videos. So let's start off with the 3 3/4 inch. So we have a Dalek there carrying a Dalek mutant. We have a bronze Dalek. We have a Davros, which has seen better days, because this actually is not a proper 3 3/4 inch. This is one of, it's like that one there. And like I said, it has seen better days. Then we have the Clara Dalek. We have the Doctor from Caretaker. We have Clara Oswald there, who just refuses to stand. The same with this Amy Pond. Then, of course, we have the Ice Warrior, the Cybermen, and the only Cybermen figure printed, released in that design, unfortunately. Then we have, of course, the Weeping Angel. Now, this is my original Krillitang that I got Christmas of 2006. And as you can see, it has seen better days, but it's my original, and I'm going to keep it. And then, like I said, I have that Silurian statue there. Moving backwards, we have Fish Boy from the Vampires of Venice. We have the 2 Masters from that set. We have the Judoon Captain from Fugitive of the Judoon. We have the Sycorax Leader. We have another Smiler. We have a Possessed Ood, as well as a Silurian, and a Slitheen. And then we have my Daleks. Well, I'll get into those now in a second. So starting here, we have a Series 4 Davros, but we have my classic Daleks that came in a classic 3-pack. So there's another Dalek. I think that one there is the Dalek Pilot, because it has a little circle on the back. And then we have a gold Dalek, which apparently is a really expensive figure, because it's only ever had like 2 releases. This is the original release, not the re-release. So yeah, then we have this TARDIS here is actually the collector tin, as you can see there. That goes with the Trial of a Time Lord VHS that I got. And then we have, so in front of it, I put the 4th Doctor. This is the original figure that was released when they started doing the classic range. Beside him is a Sarah Jane from Genesis of the Daleks, because, you know, the costume fits. And then in the background there, we do see a Cyberman with a Auton, a new series Auton. Then we have, if I can get it there, maybe from the side. But yeah, so we have 9 and Rose with the 9th and 10th Doctor TARDIS. Then we have another Cyberman, as well as a Weeping Angel. Then we have 12 and Bill in front of the 11th Doctor's TARDIS /12. Then we have Missy and another Cyberman. Then we have Jodie's TARDIS with a new addition to my collection being the 15th Doctor and Ruby Sunday. And then we have the modern series Daleks. So we have Dalek Sec there, which is a hodgepodge of stuff because I pulled from a broken Dalek that I have. We have the original Dalek with the claw. We have a normal Bronze series Dalek. Then we have the drone from the Pandora, not the Pandora, the Paradigm, I think. And then we have again the Dalek from Jodie's first Dalek special. So that's all of these. Now we get down to here, where I have some on display here because I have room to display them. So on this shelf we have Doctor Number 10, as well as Martha Jones. Over here we have Doctor Number 11 with Amelia Pond. Then over here we have Doctor Number 12 with Clara. And then down here we have Jodie with Yaz. And then finally here we have another one of my duplicate 10th Doctors with Donna, symbolizing 14 and Donna. Now it's time for me to go grab the figures that aren't on display. One thing I did forget to show off is that I do display my some of the Lego stuff here amongst all of that. Okay, we're nearly at the 2-hour mark because I've been adding the stuff into CapCut to see exactly how long this is. So yeah, we're basically at the end once I show off all of these. But whilst bringing in some of the stuff to show off from my bedroom, I actually found the Lego K9 that you got with the TARDIS Doctor and this set. So, you know, it's a very good likeness to K9. So I'm very happy to finally have found it. Okay, so I'm just going to be picking at random here. And the first one to show off is Missy. This is, I'm pretty sure I have two versions of two different Missies. I'm looking at the back at the setup, and I don't think I have one displayed. But I know for a fact that I do have two Missies. This one was originally displayed on the stuff with the stereo, but she keeps falling off. So let me try and focus there. So yeah, it's not the greatest of likenesses to Michelle Gomez, unfortunately. But yeah, that's one of the figs. I do have a Doctor Who Funko Pop. This was a gift from an ex for Christmas, I believe, and it is a Sarah Jane Funko Pop from The Hand of Fear, her final story. So yeah, I don't really collect Funkos all that much. The only two that I bought myself were from a charity shop, so the rest have been gifts. So yeah, there's that one there. This is my original dipshit from Vampires of Venice, and as you can see, he does not have his cape, because when I used to play with the Doctor Who figs, I would, you know, want to have like my own doctors and stuff, so I would use him as a template, and so I pulled off the cape because that was just going to be an accessory where he'd either wear the cape or he would not wear the cape. So let's get a closer look at the face sculpt here. So yeah, that's this guy. Focus. No, that's just overexposing things. Anyway, moving on. I do also have Prisoner Zero. This I believe is my original Prisoner Zero that I gave to someone and then I got back in my collection or something like that, because I do remember getting Prisoner Zero, and it's an interesting, you know, translucent figure, but absolutely horrible for display purposes. Like, I know I could probably put like blue tack and then like stick them onto something, and that would be really, really cool. But yeah, aside from that, you know, you can, the articulation, you can move them in any shape you want. But yeah, it's, I don't know why they made this as a figure, to be honest, as a one story quote unquote villain. Let's see. I have another set of companions from Jodie's era. So we have a Yaz, She can just lie down there for now. Graham and Ryan. And I do have another Jody as well. This one is holding the screwdriver. These two were initially paired where with her TARDIS, but once I got 15 and Ruby, those are the ones that I wanted to display. So yeah, these are the gang, the fam, as she would say. Moving on to some June. This, I believe, judging by the wear and tear of him, is my original June that I got all the way back in 2007. Yeah, judging by the amount of dust that is on him. So these guys are missing their accessories. But hey, at least I have somewhat of a June army. Yeah, I have like 4 Junes. One of them is on without a helmet. So if I ever got back into doing Doctor Who figure adventures, there's a storyline that I could probably do. I have this broken Dalek that you do that and it's yeah. And it's doing that because I hate the sound. But yeah, his gun is broken off, unfortunately, and as he would move, the head would move side to side. Another Dalek that I have, I took apart because it was going to be for like to replace the batteries, but unfortunately it didn't do anything, so it's perma dead. So I just haven't glued him back, screwed him back in. He's missing, of course, the ear pieces, and stuff because he would do sounds if you pressed a particular button. I'm trying to remember which one it was. Oh, it's I think it's might be one of those, but there he goes falling down. But yeah, that's another one of the dogs that I have. I also have Bracewell. So this is him, normal. I do also have the chest piece that comes with him that showed the bomb from Victory of the Daleks, as well as his broken hand when the Dalek shot it off, revealing that he was an android. And then I just have some other doctors that aren't displayed, such as Doctor Number 10 with the 3D glasses. Weird that they made this a figure. I have another Doctor Number 11 with the white shirt and blue bow tie, with a heavy wash on his hair. And then one that I've had for the longest time, so this is my proper original figure that I remember buying as well, back before they stopped making the new series figs, is the Doctor with a Stetson. So yeah, just a few more things to show off. Okay, a few more things just to show off. So starting with this Dalek, it's not a Funko Pop. It's a Titan. I think again this is something that an ex got me, but you can tell by the dust how long it's been in my room because I don't really display it all that much. But yeah, then I do have 2 broken Daleks. So this is one that I remember getting Christmas of 2010, or in around that time when, or slightly before it. And then this I found in a charity shop with the Dalek Sec, but I Frankensteined it because whilst he was missing his eye stalk, he still had the gun and plunger. So I just put that into the Dalek Sec to have a complete Dalek Sec. So yeah, that's basically now it for the Daleks. And we're getting down to the last 3 things to show off. That being this. This is my original 10th Doctor TARDIS console from that playset, the original playset that I got Christmas of 2006. As you can see, it has seen way better days than what it has, but I do know for a fact that it still works. Okay, I've gone to grab some batteries just to show. Well, I haven't actually tested to see if it still works in a number of years. So we shall find out together. So the batteries are in, and oh wow, the button is actually kind of jammed. So I guess it doesn't. Yeah, because I have it set to on, and you know the batteries are in, and I've moved it to off, and I tried to move it to try me. I guess it's finally gone kaput. Because the button is very, very stiff to move. Because I haven't tried it in a number of years. But yeah, so it looks like I now know for definite that this has gone kaput. So that's not the only thing that I have TARDIS related. But I'll get to that now in a second. I do have the TARDIS cookie jar that I do not use. And going back to the TARDISes, because we're basically now at the end of the video, I have the 11th Doctor's TARDIS, minus the whole playset area. And then the final thing that I have is the junkyard TARDIS from the Doctor's wife. So yeah, this is complete. You know, you can take that off. You can take the time rotor out. And then, you know, it has stand feet pegs there, because you'd put your Doctor in there. And yeah, that's that is now everything. Okay, just as I was about to wrap this video up, it sprung to life. So it still works after all these years. That button does work. But I'm pretty sure that's supposed to be moving up and down. And then the Eye of Harm, the yoke still works. And then, come on, all the others worked. I guess this one is the only one that isn't working. Okay, so that's that. That took 2 days and over 2 hours worth of footage to film. But that is my entire Doctor Who collection as of the 10th of December 2024. Will I film another update on this? Probably not. This is it. This is all you're gonna get. If you want to see if I do pick up more Doctor Who stuff, gonna have to watch the monthly pickups for that. To see if I do pick up anything more Doctor Who related, be it figures or DVDs or Blu-rays or maybe even VHS. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you have made it this far, make sure to hit the like button, show this video some love, because I've had a lot of fun you know, making this video. There's a lot of nostalgia memories coming back. So yeah, hopefully the Star Trek one won't take as long, or any of the other collections showcases won't take too long. But gotta wait until next Wednesday for that. Anyway, I have been Michael. Thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will catch you all next Wednesday for another collection showcase.